Hey, Crystal, I know that I mentioned that we don't have a video, but I thought I will just try to make a quick attempt to give you a 4 to 8 minute overview here of both the healthcare side of Contact Intelligence and then our KI job growth, which is the non-healthcare specific version of KI, just to give you an idea of what kind of things we can do. And we can kind of mix the two a little bit to meet your needs for the federal prison system, okay? So we'll log in first. This is a web-based application, obviously, so you can use it from anywhere, anytime. And you log in from any device that you have, laptop, PC, a tablet, or even a smartphone. So you can basically work anytime, anywhere that you want to work. So this is the healthcare side of KI. This is the main landing page when you get in. You can see we have what we call the right-hand navigation over here. These links in the calendar will remain here all the time in KI. And these links down here will change depending on if you're in a client record, opportunity, or candidate record, or staff for that matter. And it will really, everything that you do on the right-hand side is going to be specific to the record that you're in over on this side of the screen. What you see here is the recruitment funnel or your phases of your process. You can see this is a demo account, so we have a lot of phases. But if you're from Texas, you could have a 2-step program, or if you have a 12-step program, it doesn't matter. You can customize this on the fly, and I'll show you what we've done over on the KI job growth side to tie something to Crystal specifically. This is kind of your database donut, so to speak. It tells you, what do you have in here? So, okay, well, all these actively looking candidates, you can see that I have a total of whatever 10 people that are actively looking in this demo account. But totally, altogether, I may have 1,000 or 8,000 or 50,000 people in my database that I can use to go and find, to help them find a job. So in this, we have clients, opportunities, or jobs, and then, of course, candidates, and then staff. Staff are the folks that are already at the location that you're working with to help make the final decision or help you through the hiring process and those kinds of things. And then contacts, those would be clerks and other people that you may have to communicate with at your different client locations. And then some training and some reporting and where you customize and those kinds of things. But if I show you very quickly over here, this would be a client, and in your case, you have facilities throughout the country, and you can have a parent-child relationship. So if, for instance, this might be, say, the state of North Carolina, and that'd be the main client. And then down here, you may have the different facilities or, number of facilities. And then each of those may have sub-facilities that you're working with that you need to have a special relationship with. And you can break that down any way you want. You can email out of KI. You can send basic emails. You can send reports via email. And all that stuff works automatically throughout KI. Down here, we have a list of the jobs that we're recruiting for, what specialty we're looking for. And again, this is the healthcare version. How many days in progress with some metrics that you're looking for, I think. And if we look here, there are 3 candidates that we're talking to currently, and you can see all the candidates for all the jobs here. And if I wanted to go and look for the test one, so I can type in test, for instance, and it'll bring up just anything that has to do with obviously test in the candidate side. So if I wanted to see hired, I can look for all the folks that have been hired already if I wanted to keep track of that for the different locations. Down here, we have a list of the staff that we talked about. You can do action plans and those kinds of things here as well. So that's the client side. But if I wanted to go and jump to one of these jobs, for instance, and I can go over here to this one that's been going on for 500 days, I can go here and I can see this is the list of jobs. This is the opportunity itself. And then on the right-hand side, these are the navigation links specific for this record here. And we can keep track of what we're offering people, whether it's annually or hourly or whatever. If I wanted to edit that salary, for instance, I can go down here and I can go down to the salary and get to the information about that. I think I just passed it, minimum starting salary and those kinds of things. I can do that here, keep track of it, and there's all kinds. We also have some artificial intelligence stuff that we're working on as well. I won't bore you with that right now, but you can type in the fact that you're paying, whatever it is, $25 an hour, or whatever. Let's say it's $100,000 a year as an example, or I can convert that to an hourly rate. I would go back. So this is based on 2,080 hours as an example, but you can make those adjustments. Keep some information about the income, whatever it is, job description, all that kind of stuff is in here about what you're looking for. In this case, we want to see somebody that might be looking for the southeast, coastal, or let's say inland farms and lakes. And this would be things like, North Carolina as an example, or, suburban and population density of up to 50,000 people. So this ties to the matching capability inside KI as well. And so here we're looking at the history of the location, if you want to talk about that, the philosophy of the warden and what they want to try to do about rehabilitation or whatever. You can publish this so that KI powers all of these jobs on any place you want to, that the federal government has a job posting. We can either manage it completely. We can build an API to send the raw data out if they can accept it on the other end for any job board, including Monster and those kinds of things. So you can manage it all in one place and send out the job postings and your ads through KI. Won't bore you with any more details on the job itself, but once you've created that job, and let's say that we went in and we just now looked at this, and so here we're looking at the overview, and I can see down here that these are the candidates. If I scroll down, these are the candidates that are in the process. One is going through onboarding. These are kind of in step 2 or phase 2 of the process. And again, you can customize this any way you want, and you can keep track of this, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But these are also the same levels and flows that are inside inside that funnel that I was showing you on the front page as well. Once you hire them, you can add information about hiring them, where they went to, how much you're paying them, what kind of medical, when they start, and all that kind of stuff. So you can keep track of that and also report on start dates and whatnot. So this could be your onboarding details here. So if you have an onboarding requirement, this version comes with our core kind of, first stage, so to speak, onboarding. We have a custom version that we could build as well, but this is completely customizable on the fly to onboard and keep track of what's going on for orientation and background checks and drug tests and physicals and whatever else you need to do for your organization. So let me get out of the healthcare one, and I'm going to log into the non-healthcare version, which is this one. I'll just log out and log back in here. So let me do this here. Bear with me a second. Just have to get into the KI job growth version, the non-healthcare one, and that would be here. So now I'm going to log into the demo account we have for KI job growth, and again, same funnel, and there's only one candidate in the process. If you click on it, you see there's nothing here. That's why it's like that. If you had all your candidates in different phases of your process, they would all show up here and in different layers. And then here we have companies versus clients on the other side. We can name it whatever you want. Gulf Power as an example, and again, you can keep track of any related organizations to the parent, or identify them as a parent or a sub to each other. Your main contacts, if you have other contacts, you can list all your contacts here for that location, so you can reach out and talk to them very quickly, and you know who you're dealing with. Over here in the right-hand nav, these are things that you can do with respect to a company. You can upload files and documents and those kinds of things from anywhere. So here we can see these are the linked staff members. You see we don't have any opportunities that we've connected to this job or to this client yet, or jobs. But if we did, we'd be able to see them just like I showed you on the healthcare side. Over here, if we're looking at the job itself, and let's say that this is the job that we wanted to look at, I can again keep track of all my contacts. Here the master contact is Tad, but it could be that there's a secretary or a warden or somebody that is the master contact, or some other people. You can all list them here. If I want to go back to the overview, I can go scroll down and I can see that we've got Elizabeth Mayo, and look, we've got Crystal special phase. And so this is where she's at in the process, and I added that to these phases here inside this demo account, but I can customize that and take away Crystal or add Crystal or do whatever I want to very quickly by just doing this. And so you see Crystal special phase, and I want to convert this to something else. Let's see, we got background check, interview complete. Let's see, site visit. Let's do site visit / house hunting trip, or whatever you want to do. And as soon as you do that, it's been converted and saved, and also that'll show up in where she is. So for instance, it used to be that this candidate that we just looked at was in the phase of Crystal's special phase, or whatever it was. And if I go back to her, I can see that now I've just changed that because I changed the name of it. So you can see that I just changed it, and it affects it everywhere in the database. So we have a tremendous amount of reports as well. So if you wanted to go look and see what's going on and wanted to show what have you done for me lately, for instance, like in my hiring grid or presented candidates report, So I can click on this, and here I can see all the candidates that I presented and where they're at. You can see I've got one for Avalex, and here's that Crystal person. I've got one down here, and I've got no candidates for this particular job. But if I had one or more, I could use that. I can email from here. I can go to the phase. I can keep track of expenses. I can see where I found them. Because in KI, you can also come up with your sourcing plan and keep track of all your expenses and where you're spending your money and seeing if you're getting any good leads from any of these sources or not, and then either discontinue or re-emphasize and reuse or add to the utilization of certain vendors and things like that. In this case, Elizabeth, we've uploaded the CV, and there's a link here. So if I click on that, you can see I can download the CV, and there's Elizabeth Mayo's CV. So you can upload the document and attach it to anywhere, from anywhere, anytime. And this was a report that we were in. So if I go back here, I can see the report. But I can also use it to navigate. So if I wanted to go to Elizabeth's record, I can just click on this, and you'll see that this refreshes back here to Elizabeth's record. Okay? So there's all kinds of reports that we do. I won't bore you with it, but just to give you an idea of how that works. The other thing I wanted to show you briefly, I think, is over here. Let's say we created a new opportunity, and we are looking for a correctional officer. So if we type in corrections, or partially, you see this is a filtered list or an auto-suggest. So I select that, and it automatically brings it down to maybe a probation correctional officer. And if I want to add that, it gives me the SI or SOC code, or the standard occupational classification code, and that you can use for reporting, obviously. Plus, we also have EEO and all kinds of other things, and military background, and Vet 100 kinds of things that you can use in KI to be able to report on those requirements as well. Or let's say that I wanted to, look for a chaplain. So that is clergy, I guess. So if I look at clergy, you can see that's religious workers, clergy, or it could be social workers or counselors or whatever, but in this case it's clergy, and I want to add that SOC code. So here's the SOC code for clergy. And just that fast, you now can keep track of what you're looking for and match them up for what they are, and also be able to report out on SOC specific codes that are tied to, whatever your federal guidelines are. So whether they're going to be employed or contractor or whatever it is, you can keep track of all this kind of stuff. So that's enough of a tour. Took maybe a little bit longer than 8 minutes, but I wanted to give you an overview and a video that you asked for, both the healthcare side and then now the non-healthcare side. And we can match and pull some things over from one to the other if necessary, to hopefully give you something that will knock your socks off and it's different than what you've seen. And we haven't scratched the surface. We haven't even talked about the sourcing side or the onboarding to any extent, or even retention, but we can do those things as well. But I wanted to give you a very, very quick overview.